We're going to start with roll call, and hopefully we'll go to those informational items, and then we can go back to action items while we get a couple more members. Want to be respectful of everybody's time. So we're going to convene our Leadership Council meeting for October 22nd. It's 3:37, so we're starting 7 minutes behind here. And if we could just do a welcome, if we could do our introductions, and we'll take that as a roll call. I'm Monterey County Supervisor Luis Alejo, Chair of the Leadership Council, and I'll pass it to Roxanne.
Hi everybody, Roxanne Wilson, County Homeless Services Director, and I will then pass it on to Enrique.
All right, Enrique Arriola, Deputy Director, San Benito County, and I'll pass it to Casey Powers.
Casey Powers, Division Director of Program Services for Interim Inc. Pass it to Donna.
Hi, Donna Smith, Director of Program Integration and Supports, Homeless Services and Family Resource Centers, Monterey County Office of Education. I'll pass it on over to Robin.
Hi, Robin McRae, Community Human Services. I will pass it on to Dana.
Hi, everybody. Dana Cleary, Chispa. I'll pass it on to Wes White.
Okay.
Is this live or what?
Yes. Hi, Wes White, lead committee. And I can't see who to pass it to.
We'll pass you to Eva Jeronimo.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eva Jeronimo, Assistant Director to Department of Social Services. Let's see who has not gone. David?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm David Kilburn, Executive Director of Access Support Network, and I will pass it to Katrina. Have you gone? You haven't gone yet. Oh.
Katrina?
I haven't, but Katrina McKenzie with the Coalition of Homeless Services Providers. I'll pass it over to Mayor Dennis Donahue.
And I will try and get there. Let's see.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, Dennis Donahue, Salinas Mayor, with a very fussy computer.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Want to pass it to Mayor Velasquez? Have you gone, Mayor, yet?
No, thank you. Mayor Ana Velasquez, City of Soledad, and I'll pass it on to Eva. Eva Maria?
I just went,
Oh, did. Okay.
Nicole?
Hi everyone, Nicole Saki-Harris-Soper, Deputy Director for the Coalition, and I'll pass it to Mayor Labar.
Mike Labar, Mayor of King City. And I don't see someone to pass it to.
I think, Jasmine, have you gone yet?
Hi everyone, Jasmine Mejia with the Office Supervisor Alejo. I'll pass it on to Dania.
Anya.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dania Valdez with Management Analyst with Roxanne's team, Homelessness Strategies and Initiatives Division at the CAO's office. I'll pass it on to Abrina.
Good afternoon, everyone. Abrina Ganadin, COC Program Manager at the Coalition. And I will hand it over to Wes.
Wes went already, I think.
Oh.
Let's go with who else? Whoever hasn't gone, maybe Keishla.
Hi everyone, Keishla Lopez with the City of Salinas, Homeless Services Manager. And Vincent and I were having technical difficulties, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my supervisor, Vincent.
Vincent, great.
Good afternoon, everybody. Vince Montgomery, Salinas Community Development Department Planning Manager. And I will pass it to Sarah. Have you gone yet, Sarah? Where we go?
I have not. Hi.
No.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah Federico. I work for the Homelessness Strategies and Initiatives Division with Roxanne and Danya and Cindy. And I'll pass it on to, Anjanette Love.
Good afternoon. I'm Anjanette Love, Program Facilitator at Gathering for Women. And I will pass it on to Casey?
Already went. Maybe we can just popcorn now.
Yes, Cindy, who else hasn't gone? Anybody else that hasn't introduced themselves?
Cindy?
Yes. Hi there, Cindy Georgia with Homelessness Strategies and Initiatives under Roxanne Wilson at the county. Hello, everyone.
Great. Anyone else?
Tim Heaven, chair of the lead.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody else?
Greg Baker, executive director, Community Homeless Solutions.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you being here. Anyone else? All right, I think we got everybody. We got quorum yet, Katrina?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, we
All right,
have.
we're good to go then. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I know you're very busy. Any additions or modifications to the agenda? See none? How about public comments on items not on the agenda? Any public comments on anything not on the agenda? This is the time to speak, and we'll give a couple minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Tim Heaven. He has his hand raised. Go for it, Tim.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to announce that on November 13th,
you can still chill if you want.
City of Salinas Leadership Academy, we're going to be having a resource fair November 13th from 12 to 3 p.m. So I'll put the link in the chat if any organizations would like to sign up to have a table at this event.
Thank you for letting us know about that, Tim, and inviting people to come out and support it. Let's go to West White. A couple minutes.
Okay. Okay. I just want to let you know that I have about 4 or 5 people with me, and they're gonna speak before I do.
Brian Samaniego, Salinas Homeless Union, also a resident at Sheriff Center now for 2 years. I addressed this issue with Salinas City Council, stating after the switch from BACS and Community Human Service came in, I still have not received any case management. I had a choice voucher, and the individual that was assigned to my case had no idea what he was doing the whole time. During March, I guess the president supposedly put tariffs on it or whatever. It wasn't supposed to expire till the 25th. I put over 30 applications in and received no housing. As far as case manage it, I haven't received any. I'm also disabled. Tim knows me because I asked for Central Coast Alliance of Health. Ever since I had Tim Heaton come to help me with the housing navigation, because Dorothy's couldn't do it. They're still having a hard time. I never got housed with even the help of that, and it created more of a problem. I'm asking for the board to hear my matter privately so I could show the paperwork and everything I did correctly. Now I'm being asked to look for housing with no income, and I'm still trying to work on my disability, Social Security, in hopes that by me bringing this to your attention now to the board, I get some kind of resolution, because I came here after being a volunteer for the city of Salinas and SORT team after losing my mother, came to use and get the same services I was signing people up to get. And yeah, it shows really that it's not the people that are failing, it's the system that's failing the people. I'm a good example of a disabled person that's going through hell in this place to try to get some kind of help. And in the meantime, I lost my voucher on March when it was still good on the 25th. And the person doing it couldn't house me at all. And I need some kind of help here because I am not going back to the streets.
Thank you very much. That's a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
We'll go to the next person there, Wes.
Okay.
Oh, hi, my name is Perla Rodriguez. I've been housed here for almost a year. Just having a lot of issues with the staff harassing me. They gave me a case manager from Dorothy's, and he just said that nothing else that I'm going through with my mental health, anxiety, social anxiety, everything that I'm going through, that had nothing to do with him, that he was just there to house me. But I'm going through a lot of issues trying to get housed. I do have income from Cash Aid. They don't want to take that as income. They just want me to do everything by myself, looking for housing. And I have my 3-month-old. I'm currently pregnant. I got pregnant on birth control, so it's not like I just wanted to be out there. I was working when I found out, you know, and it's just been really tough, and the rules and everything is getting a toll on me. With that being said, I would like to talk to somebody that would be able to help us all, and in regards to everything that we're all going through as well, not just me. It's a big group of people that we're going through a lot. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joanna Castro, and I really hope this reaches the right department willing to hear us out and make a change. I'm speaking today not only for myself, but for many residents who feel voiceless within this transitional housing process. We came into this program with hope and believe we would be supported, guided, and treated with dignity and respect as we work towards rebuilding our lives. But over the time, the hope has been shaken and serious concerns that need to be heard have been ignored. We have experienced mistreatment, false accusations without fair process, basic freedom like ability to step outside for fresh air. The share food center or even listen to music has been suddenly taken away with no explanation. We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for accountability, transparency, and humanity. The same principles that this California stands for, we believe in the purposes of these programs. We want to work with you to ensure they truly help people with healing and success, not punish or silence them. Please listen to us, the people living this reality day by day. Help restore fairness, trust, and dignity to the system that is meant to lift us up. We are not asking for pity. We are just asking for justice. We deserve to be treated as people, not problems. And a program meant to lift us up takes away our voice is not a healing program. It's a harming program. We are not prisoners, and we would like the punishing to stop and the mistreatment to stop also. Wrongful use of our funds to be put to rest and make this environment safer and cleaner for everybody that is here. Thank you.
I understand the Continuum of Care was a collaborative effort by community-wide service organizations collaborating together to help end homelessness. It was transitional housing, homeless prevention in particular was the main focus. I believe, and I cannot speak for the rest of the individuals who just spoke, but I believe all of us are the individuals who fell through the gaps. At some point in the process, something should have occurred, whether by service organizations, or maybe it was because of our fault for not knowing or not asking the right person or the right question. But every single one of us fell through the gaps of this continuum of care process. If not, we would not be here.
Hello, my name's Samantha Metzger. I've been in the share center for about 6 months. I just feel like, there's some, I've just kind of felt like sometimes, I felt like a little discriminated because I'm a girl and I dress like a guy. I just kind of feel like some stuff that has been going on is not right. I don't want to get into a lot of details, but I actually bought my kids some food and I bought myself some stuff, and I was gonna put it in my friend's car because we can't have it in the backside area of the rooms. So I left it in the cafeteria and I was gone for about 5 minutes. I went to the restroom and came back, and one of the staff members took my stuff into the office, and then somebody else told me that they saw her take it into her car. When I asked her when she came back from wherever she came, she told me that I wasn't gonna be able to get my things back, and I really needed that food. It was like probably $24 worth of food for my kids because I am in a reunification case right now with my children, and I really wanted to get that food over to my visit of my kids with me, but I wasn't able to take my kids the food because they took it away from me, and that's all I want to say.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Marcela Llanos.
She was saying that my name is Marcela Llanos, and I have been disrespected and accused and ignored by staff workers. I have 3 girls that are currently staying with me in this facility, and they have not helped us. I've been staying here for 3 years. 3 años? ¿Qué más?
Sí.
¿Qué más?
3 años. 3 años aquí sin que nos puedan ayudar. Ahí encontrar un lugar seguro para mis hijas y para mí. Aquí hemos sufrido acoso por parte del personal, nos han faltado al respeto, a mis hijas también, y no la respetan. Algunas personas sí respetan del personal de refugio, y se ha encontrado aquí droga que no han hecho nada con las personas que viven allí. Una persona que vive allí ha metido droga y ellos no han hecho nada para sacarla porque es un peligro para nuestros hijos que tenemos menores de edad.
We have been discriminated. Not all staff members are bad, but most of them have ignored when I have told them that my daughter has found drugs in the bathroom. I feel like they are not taking us serious, and they've been really discriminatory they've been discriminating against us, especially because I don't speak English or I can't communicate with them. And I myself have seen this happen as well. We feel voiceless and we feel like our hands are tied and we have no one that is willing to hear us out. And I thought I was going to come in here and be able to just move on with my life, and I can't after knowing what they're going through also. You know, it's difficult to just move on.
Lo que pedimos es ayuda.
We just
Que nos
ask for help.
den ayuda, que ya no aguantamos estar aquí. Es muy frustrante estar allá. Mis hijas, tengo dos menores, la menor de 8 años, ella como se llama, se frustra y me ha dicho que ella quiere irse de aquí, que no quiere estar aquí porque las personas así como son, se siente muy mal mi niña, y la de 17 años también igual. Tienen depresión y ansiedad y ya es muy frustrante con ellas, es que no puedo hacer nada para poder salir de aquí.
She says, I have an 8-year-old and I have 2 teenagers that suffer from anxiety and depression now, and it's very difficult. I want to get out of here, get them a better life, and no one is helping us. We just need someone to hear us out.
Okay, great. Hi, Wes White, Leadership Council, Lead Committee member. And also, I just want to announce that we got a new nonprofit going. It's called HUGS, Helping You Get Support. And the first thing we're going to do is host an event for the Salinas Monterey County Homeless Union, operating for the last 10 years. So we're going to probably have at least a dozen homeless unions in California. We'll have, we're part of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. There was a National Union of Homeless in the 80s and 90s, and that's what I got tapped to do, was to reestablish that in 2016 on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So 2026 will be 10 years, January 17th, all day, basically 8 to 5, 8 to 6, not sure yet. But it'll be all day, and it'll be really focused on folks living outside, to see what folks do in other jurisdictions to maintain their property, maintain their place, steward the land, and win some court battles. One place, Camp Compassion, has tents and lockers and a bench and power station, everything. So Camp Resolution, even better. But you'll be able to learn about a lot of the folks these folks did it themselves. So looking forward to seeing you all January 17th, Saturday.
Great, thank you, Wes. Okay, we're going to go to Robin McRae and then go to Casey Lopez.
Thank you, Supervisor Leno. So I raised my hand before the last few speakers. I have an announcement to make. But before I do, I just wanted to say I'd like to address each individual's concerns separately at an appropriate forum. They said some very concerning things, so obviously we need to have conversations with them. I don't know if they've already done any formal grievance or our staff's had a chance to address any of their concerns, but we definitely do want to have a conversation with each individual in the appropriate setting. So if I could get the individuals' names, maybe we could start that way, probably not their individual names in a public setting. So if somebody could contact me with those names, that would be great.
Right. And Robin, does Community Human Services have some form they can fill out? Like you're saying, the grievance
process, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we could tell Wes to get we can get Wes that form, and they can fill it out, and then that would allow somebody at the agency or organization to follow up with each of them individually, in a private manner, I would say.
Sure. And those are all provided to. I don't expect people to remember everything they receive during intake, because there's a lot going on when they first come in. But all of that information is provided to people when they come in, and it's available at the front desk as well.
Great. Thank you, Robin, and we're willing to do the follow-up. Keishla, go for it.
I had an announcement to make.
Go ahead, Robin. I can go when you're done.
So, completely unrelated to anything we've talked about today, I've announced my retirement. I think Supervisor Leo, but it's coming up in March, and the board is actively recruiting to fill the CEO position. So I wanted to let you all know so that you and your networks can be aware. Please look at the announcement and send people our way if they're interested in the position.
Thank you, Robin. Your leadership's going to be missed. I think we're all saddened by that news. But hopefully, in these months that you're still here, we can find a good leader to
Till
step
5.
in, trying to fill your shoes, and that you can have that time to also.
But they said, yeah, they said there's a form to fill out. CHS form, Robin McRae said. I'm not sure what it is.
I'm glad we have a few more months extra
I'll have to
going
follow
into
up.
March rather than the end of this year.
Perla's already getting in touch with Tim, and we got that.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
13th, so
I second that, Robin. You're a big mover and shaker, and so you're going to be missed in your role dearly.
Yeah, make sure
I just wanted to
names.
reiterate to Robin's point that we appreciate the advocacy, West White, and to help support the clients to best advocate for themselves is making sure that we're educating on the processes of the grievances. We take all grievances seriously, and in order for us to really follow HIPAA and personal PII, it's best that some of these conversations happen through the grievance process, so we're not exactly airing out personal information in a public forum. But I just wanted to reiterate that there is a grievance process, and we highly encourage that they do submit something for their individual cases to be heard and investigated and supported.
Great, thank you for that. Mayor Velasquez?
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor, and thank you for those comments. I just want to say as well, as part of the Leadership Council, I think it's also important for us to be able to hear some of those comments, and for us also to be able to ensure that there is a process, a complaint process, and that also that there is a resolution for these type of allegations to be resolved, and that we understand that there is that they are being resolved, and there is a process that they can utilize. And hopefully they don't have to come before the board to be able to have those issues that they shared with us today. That there is a process that is working for them, that they can resolve them. So I think for me it's just making sure that we understand the process, and that there is a grievance process, and that grievance process is working for them, and ensuring that their complaints are being heard and they're being resolved.
Right, and I just want to be clear, we don't have jurisdiction over this. This is operated by the City of Salinas and the County of Monterey, and they have chosen the Community Human Service to be the provider to run this share center. So it's not a matter of jurisdiction of the Leadership Council. Wes, I'm not going to go back because you've already spoken. I want to ask for any other public comments of people who have not spoken yet on items on today's agenda.
No.
See none. I also wanted just to say that the Share Center does have rules. That's how we keep the program protected, but the rules should be uniform and fair to everyone. There should be a grievance process so that if somebody's feeling they're not treated fairly, we can better address it. But sometimes I've been very supportive of the shelter since it opened, and sometimes we have rules, and there's sometimes rules that people do not like, but they are necessary to maintain order and to maintain the proper functioning of the Share Center for everyone as best as possible. So if there's nothing else, I do want to proceed because we got a full agenda today.
My name was invoked as far as that goes.
No, it's not. We're not going to go back and forth.
Hey, well, I just want to put it out there that they said people get pulled aside and they get told in private the things that are negative and not so you're already doing that. All right.
You're out of line. I'm going to have the staff take you off if you can't maintain decorum. Everybody follows the same rules. You've already spoken. You can't continue speaking on an item that you already spoken on.
Wow.
We're going to go to approved minutes for August 2025. If everybody's good with those minutes, we can just entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Okay.
LeBlanc, second.
Okay. Any public discussion on the minutes? See none. If everyone could just say aye. Those that favor.
Aye.
Right.
Those against? Any abstentions from the minutes? See none, those minutes are deemed approved unanimously. We're going to item number 5. We have some serious topics to discuss, and one is on funding. Item A, downtown streets team reallocations. I just want to just start this out by saying that we're losing another good partner in addressing our homelessness crisis here locally. We also lost a previous provider of Bay Area Community Services. Now downtown streets team is closing its doors. But I'm going to ask Katrina to give us, so everyone knows what's happening on a statewide basis, where they've had programs, I think, in 16 different cities, and now what is going to happen with the needed reallocation of the dollars that they were allotted for their program functions.
Thank you, Supervisor. So on September 1st, Downtown Streets team announced that they're closing their doors and ending their services permanently in the state of California. Which is their encatchment area. They, like you said, there's many cities involved as of October 31st. So this leaves a significant amount of funding available to our community. We'll know exactly how much is left for reallocation in November, but we have some projections that was provided by Downtown Streets team as of October 15th. So right here was there a total award of $579,000. They have expended $300,000 so far, and there's a remaining $272,000 from two funding grants and 3 categories. So we have some prevention funds, prevention and diversion funds from HAP 5, and rapid rehousing funds from HAP 5, and then rapid rehousing for HAP 4. Before we get into anything else, the recommendation on the table for you all to consider right now is that CHSC is requesting authorization to identify high-performing programs that are approaching funding constraints and to allocate those available funds from DST Downtown Streets teams through a sole source process rather than issuing a competitive RFP. This approach will allow CHSC to maintain services to continue seamlessly without disruption and to ensure timely utilization of the HAP resources while also maintaining accountability and compliance with the funding requirements, seeing that there are milestones we have to reach throughout the process. So I pass it back to you.
Could you explain to everybody what happened to Downtown Streets teams? Because this may be news or likely news to most people on this Zoom.
Yeah, so I can't say for sure what exactly is happening. The only information that was given to us is that DST has exhausted all efforts to sustain their programs during significant shifts in financial and political issues. Despite their unwavering dedication of the staff and board, they no longer have the resources to continue their mission. So that's what the information they gave us.
And Katrina, they're not just closing in Salinas, they're closing in all their 16 cities that they provide services in, correct?
Yeah, they were in the Bay Area, like Santa Clara area, I believe Fresno, Bakersfield. There was a lot of sites that are closing, and they have been slowly taking their staff down or like dismissing their staff. Right now they have bare bones of maybe like their CFO and a handful of program managers running their program through the end of October. We should have final submission of their report on HAP and their spend down by September, but they said that they'll have their final numbers to us in November.
Okay, let's go to Mayor Labar.
Thank you, Chair. Just 2 quick things. One, I am supportive of the staff recommendation. And secondly, I am very appreciative of the Coalition and Leadership Council's proactive approach to ensure that we're not giving any dollars back. The reallocation as something that has benefited our organization as well as the service providers in a very positive way. So I would make that motion to go with staff recommendation. And thank you, Chair.
Great. Is there a second to that motion? That we can continue discussion?
I'll second. Oh, there you go.
Okay, there's a second. And Katrina, can you be clear if we're going to reallocate it through a sole source process? What's the timeline for that?
So we'll find.
We don't have a meeting till January, right?
Excuse me?
We don't have a meeting till January, so how will the recommendation come forward after today?
Yeah, so we have already been looking into all of the programs right now to monitor performance and spend down, and have been working with other organizations and hope to continue to work with other organizations to see how we can help with partnering and funding any organizations or programs that are in need. So the recommendations will come to you all by our next meeting.
Great. And if we need action before, we could do a vote by email, correct?
Yes, it's up to you guys. If you guys are up for that, I'm definitely for it.
Okay. Great. Let's go to Robin McCrae.
Can you say generally how high-performing programs will be defined?
Yes. So there'll be an organization who is meeting their spend down requirements and program milestones in a timely manner. Those that are always or quick to or miss their deadlines in reporting and hitting their milestones would not be one that we would easily consider for a high performing organization. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're looking at just HAP-funded programs. It could be programs within the community that hasn't been HAP-funded. Maybe they fell short in HAP funding competitions before and are still in need. These are all things that we will be discussing with other funders that deal with these organizations as well.
Great. See no other questions or comments? Any comments from the public, non-board members? All right. Last thing I want to say on this, like I said earlier, I think that in this world that we live in with the limited number of providers, it's always, for me, a setback losing another team member that was doing some of the work, because when they're not doing it, then we have to reallocate funding, and sometimes other organizations are already stretched thin or already busy or at capacity. And so I just hope down the road we could get some other organizations who can jump in and could or expand their capacity to be able to amplify the work we're doing. When we do have the resources, it's the man or woman power that we need also to be successful. So with that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, if you could please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those against? Any abstentions? Okay, that staff's recommendation carries. Let's go to the 2025 COC NOFO update under item 5B.
Yes, thank you. So, as reported in previous meetings, there was not supposed to be a 2025 NOFO as in 2024 the Congress approved for it to be a 2-year grant period, but this was overturned by our current federal administration, but has not yet been approved by Congress to my knowledge. However, HUD did state their intent to release a 2025 NOFA despite being in the middle of a 2-year funding cycle. So this has caused a little disruption in the planning process as the coalition and other organizations or continuing those carriers across the country did not plan technical assistance or even anything to move a NOFO forward. So with the federal shutdown, this has definitely impacted their release. We have not seen anything yet on like a federal guidance on the NOFO, but they did issue the revisions of our grant inventory workshop, worksheet, which is a list of all of the grants, all of the programs, and bed count, demographics, all of those things. And that's usually the first sign of a NOFO release. With that, they did start implementing some new criteria. So when an article came out from the Politico, and they announced two major changes to our upcoming NOFO in accordance to the executive order dubbed as Keeping America's Streets Safe. So they implemented this, will be implementing this permanent housing cap. And basically what it is they're only going to give 30% of the total COC awards to permanent housing. And you see here our 2024 grants came in, or awards were at $5.6 million in permanent housing funding. That's about 66% of our overall award. And when we drop it to 30%, we'll be looking at a $3.1 million deficit in permanent housing funding. So these are programs that are already being funded, and we depend on this funding. We'll have to scale back $3.1 million in permanent housing support. So before I move on, I just want to just open this up for a little more discussions or questions anyone may have, because this is a direct attack on our programs right now, and we have to be really strategic in what's going to be our path forward.
Yeah, I would like to hear from folks. Roxanne, you want to start us out? Thank you.
Thank you. First, I just want to say that this is incredibly frustrating because for the past 10 years, HUD has been encouraging continuums of care to defund transitional housing and move all of our allocations really towards permanent housing interventions. So it is a huge pivot for all COCs across the nation to go from that very long transition into permanent housing now back to interim. In this case, I wanted to flag for the Leadership Council that opposite of this, the state government wants to really focus on the sustainability of interim housing solutions using HAP. So what I think we need to start doing is figuring out what is on the board and taking a deep dive into all of the funding streams. What are they being paid for? And while I appreciate this one part, but there's so much more that's tied to this, and it takes a lot of analysis and a lot of big brains to pull it all together. But I just wanted to flag that for the LC, that now is the time for us to start really thinking about how we're just going to keep as many programs alive and get through these administrations.
Thank you for those comments. Let's go to San Benito County. Enrique, I'd love to hear from your county as well on this.
Well, I could say that I'm very, very frustrated that this is kind of what we're hearing. Very frustrated. Permanent supportive housing works. It's, in my opinion, one of the programs that really brings solutions to homelessness, and I'm afraid that any permanent supportive housing program that gets impacted will need to strongly coordinate efforts to get anyone housed in other housing options. But I'm afraid that those that we can't, because for many reasons, they're going to end up back at shelters and homelessness, and it's further going to disrupt continuum of cares, different providers, different cities, different counties, and I do foresee homelessness go up, and it's completely counter-defeating to the last years of trying to get continuity and investing in long-term housing solutions. So it's very frustrating. I'm just curious if there's been any discussions with our HUD housing reps, and if not, hopefully there will be some, and hopefully this is not the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Tim Heaven and then Mayor LaBar.
Yeah. So as part of the Bring California Home Coalition, we are, working on advocating with the governor and at the state level, just to work on different ways where we can kind of help prevent people from returning back to homelessness. So just so people know that we are working on that with the Bring California Home Coalition. And if anyone's interested in being part of that coalition, they could also, we are looking for participation as well.
Mayor LaBar?
Thank you, Chair. I really want to agree with Roxanne's approach and assessment that deep dive is necessary, and looking at things, do we reclassify the programs that we're doing? Does permanent supportive housing have to contain, some kind of interim housing component? Or the different aspects of permanent supportive housing, can those be broken down into smaller amounts that can be funded by other funding streams? So I think a lot of that work will be coming, I hate to say it, Roxanne, but you and Katrina really diving into how do we carve these things up to make it work? Because ultimately we have to figure a path forward. And then hopefully the last thing, Chair, is to also note recommendations for legislative changes or flexibility that us electeds can then speak to our state and federal representatives going forward would be very, very helpful. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's go to Wes.
Hi, thank you. I'm thinking about a little creative out of the box or whatever, maybe not, but enforcement, if we were to mitigate issues as far as sweeping encampments, I believe there's a lot of money that can be redirected toward that permanent supportive housing and inner whatever housing. So that's one big recommendation I'm looking at, I would say, is stopping the sweeps, obviously, and allowing people 400 square feet and a structure, and we can connect people with water and food. That's not a problem. It's the permission to be somewhere, and if we allowed people to be somewhere, we'd save an awful lot of money.
Anyone else? I wanted to bring up something related but a little different. Katrina, maybe if you could help refresh my memory, but last time we spoke on changes to the NOFO as well, beyond the housing portion, there was seems to be a conflict with the new requirements under federal law and potentially conflicting with state law regarding, it's your next slide, so we'll go to that. Let's explain that. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you, Supervisor, for the segue. They have also issued some strict DEI criteria. So organization that previously was recognized for having gender non-conforming or transgender people will now have points deducted. So again, speaking to Roxanne's point, for the past 7 to 10 years, we have been conditioning ourselves and our programs in our community to implement these things that was coming down from our government. And now we're getting swift shifts to move away from things that took decades to build. So this really links into our YHDP, our youth homeless demonstration programs that serve folks 18 to 24. And those organizations are Community Homeless Solutions, Community Human Services, Epicenter, that, which is currently subtracting to City of Soledad, and the Coalition. Our organizations have implemented these things into our programs directly tied to YHDP. So now we have to rethink these, but also end up hitting some conflicts. But those are 2 slides over. I thought it was this slide, but it's 2 slides over. But I did want to speak on what Mayor LaBar was saying, and how, this is something that Roxanne's office and my office has been thinking about and talking about, and really want to just prepare you all for, new funding that comes out. We may have to be shifting the way we fund organizations completely, because we can't just do the same old thing. We have to be looking at all of our programs and getting with every entity that's funding our community programs and see how we can best leverage every dollar that we have. So we are deeply thinking into this and strategizing, and need to get into the analytical phase of what this looks like and what our funding and programmatic support looks like across the board. So that's just a precursor for whatever is to come down the line, but we are working on it. And if that's okay with you, Supervisor Alejo, I can move on to the HUD update.
Yes, but I want to let people know, though, that this is where, with all those years that Roxanne and Katrina were talking about these programs, federal and state kind of law was aligned for these programs. Now they seem to conflict, right? So if now the new NOFO is saying you can have DEI aspects to our programs, rapid rehousing, data collection on LGBTQ, and state law says you have to have it. That's why I think we do need to have a conversation with our legislators, because it's going to put if an audit happens right in the future, it's going to put our providers in a tough position where if they want the funding, they got to follow federal law, but it might conflict with state law. And so just in my role as second vice president of our counties association, I'm already raising it after my conversation with Katrina to flag it as an issue facing our continuum of cares and our counties, where this is going to put us in a much more difficult position, being in the middle of state and federal law. Yes, okay, so we could, if there's no further questions, then we could go to the next item, because I know we're running out of time here.
Yeah. So in addition to all of those things that we are saying, several of our 2024 contracts in our community have not been released. So I see a couple organizations here, and we have gotten a lot of feedback that they have not received their 2024 contracts. That's having a huge gap in their funding. Usually, you're awarded in the following year, so everyone got awarded in January 2024, and we would have already had been contracted and would be able to backfill from January to present, but that hasn't happened. So as we're waiting, the federal government said that the shutdown should not impact funding, which it is, and they intend to continue to do contracting and prioritize programs who will be affected by lapse in contract execution. But we're seeing that in our community, it's not happening. All non-urgent matters like amendments or transfers are still at a pause. So right now, SAC is still a contract holder of their YHGP grant, but they're subcontracting to the city of Soledad. And just like us, we're subcontracting to Community Human Services because we can't get those transfers to take place. And this is going on like almost a year of us trying to transfer contracts. Furthermore, there have been huge restrictions added to the language of those who have been receiving their contracts. So the coalition has received our planning grant contract, but we are not yet ready to sign it because just going through our lawyers to make sure that everything is down. Some of the high issues would be immigration status, gender identity, and related policies and other conditions that may affect service delivery. Some of these new federal directives do appear to be in conflict with these California and federal laws. So there are many COCs that are like not nonprofits that have joined in lawsuits against HUD and these conflicting directives, but DHSP has not. What we are doing is linking up with other organizations throughout the state of California to see kind of how they're doing things, and what are some recommendations or letters that we can get to have people like you guys in your roles advocate for us, because we cannot lobby in that way. So we're closely monitoring what is taking place, and are hoping to have further guidance as HUD and state agencies like reopen, and then start giving further clarification.
Any questions on this? Any directors? Big changes happening here. And one we'll keep trying to keep updated as we get more information, right, Katrina?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mayor Velasquez, go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor Alejo. So I just have a question, Katrina, for some of the existing contracts that we have. So I just kind of want to understand in terms of some of the changes that are coming or some of the changes that exist, even though some of the contracts are already executed, some of these current restrictions will still be impacting the existing contracts?
So are you thinking like your 2023 contract, or are you thinking 2024 and forward? I don't think it's going back. Nicole, can you
forward?
Clarify? I think anything forward. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're legally protected under the 2023. So if any FY 2023 contracts that have been signed, these restrictions do not apply, but anything moving forward, so when BACS, for the case of City of Soledad, when BACS signs and gets those FY 2024 contracts, and they have to pass those sort of regulations on to you all as well at the City of Soledad, and then that's when these would take effect. But most folks are running out of their funding if they have not already for their FY 2023 contracts.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, that's a report. We'll keep everybody updated. If there's no comments from the public on this, non-board members, then let's move to the 2026 Unsheltered point-in-time count.
Thank you. So, as last reported, we have identified the date of January 29th. We had our kickoff meeting September 15th, and Applied Survey Research, or ASR, has met with our outreach committee in October and is set to meet with our lead committee in November, so that we can get full support, or just so that they know what is happening, and can join as participants with the count. The ASR will be is coordinating meetings with outreach teams to map encampments and assign census tracts, and the volunteer survey is currently under review and should be distributed by the end of this month. We just went through our final revisions of it, and want to get it out by the end of this month. So Monterey County needs about 200 volunteers minimum, and San Benito County about 80 to 100, as it's a regional effort. We also will be doing this count at the same day as Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz is also using ASR, so we may not have as many deployment centers as we typically have had in past years, because we wanted to ensure that the Pajaro levy is we get that snapshot on the same day by both counties. We can have that line clearly defined, and nobody should be moving from either side of the levy. So we're hoping that this gives us a true and accurate count that neither county can argue against. So we're really excited about that, and it will be fully digital this year. If people want paper maps, we will plan that out ahead of time, but really looking to go digital, have one deployment center centrally located between all the counties. So because we'll be doing San Benito County that same day as well. So ASR is doing 3 counties in one day.
And Katrina, for volunteers, are you put the recruitment flyer out where people can go if they want to help out on that day, either in both?
Yeah, the recruitment flyer will go out by the end of this month. We just finished revisions, final revisions.
Yeah, we'll definitely encourage all our partners to post that on your city, put on their website, our counties, post it, and then our nonprofit organizations, if you could help us get the word out to hopefully get more than what we need to have a successful count on that day. Anything else on this?
Nope, that's it.
Any comments from the Leadership Council? Questions? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, thank you for that. Let's go to reschedule the December meeting. Instead of this December 2025, we're looking at another date.
Yeah, so it's totally up to you. If we were to meet regularly, we would meet on December 24th, 2005, and then again in February 2026. So it's up to you all if you guys want to cancel and reconvene in February or want to add another date, possibly January. So it's totally up to you all. But I do know that a lot of people are getting out of holiday fog and coming back into the new year. And our office will be primarily focused on end of year activities and the point in time count preparations, which if we were to meet in January, it would be the week of, or the week right before the point in time count. It's up to you guys, what you would like.
I like maybe the point in time count is a Thursday, the 29th, right? So maybe rather than having it the week before, if we're looking at maybe January 14th, and if we could just set it if we need it, right? I would say we keep our February meeting, but if we need a meeting just to, as a tentative date, maybe look at January 14th, so it's not so close to the point in time count, and only if we need to. Otherwise, if we don't need to, we could just push it off and meet in February. But I did want to plan, just because we're not going to meet for so long, come November, December, half of January, and I'd rather have a tentative date on the books rather than no date. What do others think? Let's go to Casey and then to Keishla.
I just wanted to know what the impact of the Downtown Streets team, the funding, all of the allocation. It seems like there's a lot of changes. I agree that there needs to be some meeting on the calendar, because I would hate for us to go so long when there's so many pending issues. It just seems like, especially from this meeting, there's a lot of stuff going on. So what about meeting a week before the holidays too? That's also an option. Like the week of December 15th or whatever that is. That would be another option, so it's not so close to the February meeting. But again, like Luis said, having something on the books.
Yeah. Okay, Keishla?
Thank you, Supervisor. I just wanted to throw out there that I may have an urgent item related to the home key project for Fairview that would need Leadership Council approval. We're anticipating, hoping that we'll be operational by December. So if you guys don't have a Leadership Council meeting in the books for November or December, I may request an email vote for the consideration that I'll be bringing forward. So I just wanted to put it out there so that everybody is aware that there is an urgent matter related to home key that would need Leadership Council approval.
Yes, definitely. Anyone else? I would recommend we keep a tentative date of January 14th, and that for the two items, Downtown Streets funding reallocation and potentially Fairview, that Keishla may need some action on, that we could have an option, either a special meeting. Otherwise, we'll do an email vote on it if it's pretty straightforward. Is that good with you, Katrina?
Yeah, that's good with me. Yep, it's good with me. It's not, like, Keisha, do you think that you would be able to get us whatever you need in December, like before the 12th, December 12th?
I'm hoping that we'll have everything before December that we need to tee up. So I don't think that will be a problem, because we're hoping to be operational right by January 1st. So anything you would get would probably be in November.
Okay. So look out for that, everyone. In the meantime, can we have a motion just to entertain a tentative date for January 14th?
Ms. Roxanne, I move.
Okay. And second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those against?
Aye.
Motion
Who
carried.
was the second?
Robin.
Robin, you're no longer a leadership council member.
I'll second. This is Eva.
All right, Eva,
Thank you.
for the record, but thank you, Robin, for your participation. Okay, let's say, okay, we got a lot of items to go through. Let's go through the plan update. LMH,
Yes.
item D.
Yes. Yes.
Lead me home.
Okay. Lead me home plan update. So, our 5-year plan is set to expire on June 2026. So in preparation of this, DHSP is working with Focus Strategies to develop a wrap-up report of year 4 and 5 plans. And due to the instability at the federal level and funding challenges, I spoke with some folks earlier, so I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then we're just going to move forward. DHSP is requesting to postpone the rewrite of the Lead Me Home plan until funding has been raised to cover the cost, and there's more clarity from the federal government on what their requirements are from us. The last plan, and Roxanne, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a little under 300,000.
It was about $250,000. It was technically like $220,000.
Okay, so it's a pretty little penny there. So I will lay that down for you guys and open that up for discussion when you're ready.
Great. So your recommendation is holding off on doing this until we have more certainty on funding.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with discussion with Roxanne.
I recommend that we change that language just a little bit. Instead of saying we're postponing a rewrite, maybe say that we're extending the current plan. That way we're not sitting in existence where there is no plan.
Right.
Also, with the transition of leadership at the coalition, I think it's fair to give Katrina some time to catch up on all of the things that didn't get accomplished through those transitions. And I hope that everyone will also support that as well.
Great. I like the finessing of the language there, Roxanne. Tim, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly just say that I think a lot of the action right now is like also geared towards the behavioral health and Prop 1 and stuff like that. So I think it's a good idea to try and get behavioral health from San Benito and Monterey County more involved.
Mayor Velasquez.
Yeah, I agree and I concur, and I think some of the for all of the objectives in terms of the Lead Me Home plan completed, because I think the extension on it, can we just extend it as well, and just kind of the extension with the until we hear more in terms of the concrete funding plan in the future. Would that be feasible?
Katrina?
Yeah, I think that it is appropriate. We had some folks be able to buy into it, and that's kind of my strategy, is looking at all of the jurisdictions that adopted the plan to see if they would like to, donate towards it, to get some fundraising efforts in it. Right now, there is just not flexible funding to initiate any of this because, as you've seen, they're moving away, like HAP has moved away from any strategic planning and supporting HMIS. So there's not much wiggle room right now. I think I love the idea Roxanne proposed on extending it because she's right. It is risky for us to not have a plan in place. And that does give our team some time after, our reports to look at things that haven't been completed, and we can put that into year 6 and use year 6 as a wrap up of the plan, as well as strategizing in fundraising and to write a new plan.
Great. A lot of work went into that last update. It's a lot of work, a big effort, big endeavor, a lot of meetings. So I would want to entertain a motion that we extend our current plan until we are able to finance an update in the future. Is there a motion to that?
So
I'll
moved.
make a motion.
I'll
Mayor
second.
Velasquez, seconded by, I think that was Wes.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those against? Abstentions? Thank you. That motion carries unanimously. We're at the Lead Me Home Summit update. To introduce this, we've had 3 homelessness summits, all one online, 2 in person at the Steinbeck Center. But as we're talking about now, there's funding uncertainty and limited resources with a lot going on, and the extension of the NOFO, that work not being out right now. And so Katrina wanted us to consider perhaps not having this go away, but putting it on the back burner up until we're able to have a little bit more clarity and certainty, and added resources to be able to do a 4th Lead Me Home Summit.
Yeah, thank you. That was exactly what I needed to say. We, like Supervisor Alejo says, it's not really, saying no to it, but really putting it on the back burner right now so that staff can really focus on obtaining, maintaining, and stabilizing community funding and strengthening our local service provider network in preparation for all the federal and state changes that are taking place. We really want to make sure that that is our primary focus, and in that time we will find topics of discussion that we can add to a summit in the future, and that also me being able to build up my own network of folks in the process of this, because trying to do this just on the local level is great, but being able to tap into COCs across the nation and specifically California and how they're doing things is really helpful to implement here. So thank you for that segue and helping the rest of the community hear where we're coming from. Give it back to you all.
Yeah, and I would say not every county or counties, because we're both San Benito and Monterey counties, has even done this effort. We're like one of the few in California that brought everyone together. We don't want to give up on that, but we know there's a new reality today right now. There's a point in time count around the corner, and there's less resources than we had. And so we want to make sure that what we do have is prioritized, and this is still a priority, but we have to give it some time until we think the timing is right to focus on doing our next one. So that, I think that's the approach we wanted to take on it, is that we're not giving up on it, but we're just have to reprioritize our limited resources at this time. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Okay, we can take that as direction if that's fine with everybody. We don't need a motion. We'll just apply that direction to Katrina to we'll just pick that up again at the right time when we think we are equipped to be able to carry that out successfully once again. And we can reflect that in the minutes, please, for our memory's sake. Okay, let's go to item number 7, Cars Overhaul, pilot extension.
So, thank you, Alex and Darren, for being able to sit through our whole meeting. I'd like to introduce you all to our home base reps and our leadership council. Darren, go ahead and take it away. And I can stop sharing if you'd like.
Yeah,
yes,
I'll share some.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Alex, are you going to share?
I can do it. I haven't pulled up.
Cool.
Okay, let me pull one up in the share. There we go. Can y'all see that?
You can introduce who you are so everybody knows, please. They may not know you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Garen Nagan. I'm with Homebase. We've been working with CHSP for the past several months on overhaul of the CARS assessment tool. Alex, do you want to?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Alex. I think we've been at this meeting a couple of times, so hopefully you'll recognize our faces, but happy to be here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us back. So yeah, we just have an update and a recommended next step about the assessment revisions. So just as a first, we can just go to the next slide. So just as an overview, if you all remember, we came to the Leadership Council back in June, and we approved kind of a 6-week pilot of this new assessment and scoring system. After that 6 weeks, there were only 4 new assessments that had been completed. So then we extended the pilot another 3 weeks, and so then that pilot ended just a couple weeks ago. So after 9 weeks of a pilot, we only had 14 new assessments that had been completed. And just as a reminder, this is what the assessment looks like. Yeah, we can go back to the grid there. Yeah, it was the first several rows are a lot of elements that were sort of already in place, but just with different scores and different point allocations. But a new point allocation was for unsheltered, those 3 points. And then we added these 4 questions at the bottom, which are related to experiences with discrimination in either housing or employment. And so basically, like, our findings, you can't even really call them findings, are that there were only 14 assessments submitted, and that's not enough data to really make a firm conclusion about whether the new assessment should be adopted or not adopted or changed in some way in order to sort of like meet the goals of the assessment. So I think that brings us to a recommendation. We'd like to extend the pilot through the end of this year and also expand the participants to all COC funded programs. And what the timeline of that would look like is we'd sort of incorporate the results of the pilot in early next year and probably come back to the Leadership Council in February with our more firm conclusions and findings about the assessment. And then, like, at that point, we would move to adopt the new assessment with any changes that came through from the pilot period. So, are there any questions?
Any questions on this? It seems like a reasonable ask in terms of that extension and expansion for the pilot program. Anyone? Any comments from the public? Great. Do you need we need to take action on your recommendations there, Jaron?
I guess that's up to you. If you think this needs a motion, there's some language up here if someone wants to move this. But I'm not sure if this needs a motion. If somebody,
let's just do a motion so we provide that direction from the board, so you know that we were behind what you're recommending here. Do we have a motion to that, everyone?
I move to approve.
Okay, thank you. Second? That was Casey.
I'll second. Wes White.
Wes, okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those against? Motion carries. Thank you for that presentation and for the work, and hopefully we get more to provide us greater guidance on the pilot. We're going to the CAR 60-day hold? Or you got more on this?
This is just the last slide, but I think Aaron already...
I think we can move on. Yeah, I said most of this already. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Let's go to Chinatown Navigation Center, 60-day hold. Katrina.
For this one,
Go ahead,
no, for this one, we do have our City of Salinas partners on. In the last Leadership Council meeting, we had lifted the 90-day hold until we were able to understand kind of what the shutdown or what the closure process is going to be for the Chinatown Navigation Center. And the city is here with us today to give just to talk to you all about that and with their ask.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Leadership Council. Vincent Montgomery, City of Salinas, Community Development Department, Planning Manager. So So yeah, we are requesting a 90-day coordinated entry hold. We have been working with, Community Homeless Solutions to develop a plan to close out, and as we prepare for the permanent closure of the CNC shelter on March 31st, we've developed a phased strategy that balances operational feasibility with, of course, compassionate of care. And their approach recognizes that the demand for shelter will remain high through the winter and aims to maximize permanent housing placements while minimizing disruption. So, therefore, some of the objectives that they want to, that they will be implementing are to prevent shelter backfill by halting regular admissions as of February 2026, accelerate housing placements through targeted CARS referrals and expanded navigator support, maintain guest dignity with clear communication, mental health services, and structured exit planning, and to prioritize housing transitions for remaining guests through a coordinated entry hold. And some of the key milestones are in January 2026 to intensify housing preparation and mental health support. In February 1st, 2026, announce closure, freeze admission, and begin headcount reduction. And then, of course, in March, end housing navigation issue, exit notices, and redirect guests for alternative shelters. So as a result of that, we to facilitate the successful and equitable closeout, we respectfully request a 90-day coordinated entry hold from January 1st to March 2026 to prioritize CNC residents for housing placement and prevent new referrals from displacing those already in shelter.
Thank you for that presentation, Vincent. And the China Navigation Center, is it set to close at the beginning of March or the end of March?
End of March, March 31st, 2026.
Timing aligns perfectly then, great. Does anybody want to weigh in on this? Cars, Trina or Roxanne?
Well, I was just saying that, I can say that Keishla and Vincent and county reps and the coalition meet every Monday to talk about this strategy. We fully, at least staff fully supports whatever the city needs to do to ensure that people land in the direction in, housing and not back on the streets.
Great, that's good to hear. I think everyone appreciates that you meet regularly and that our experts I think that just makes sense. Okay, do we need a motion to that? If there's no further discussion on this?
Ms. Enrique, just a clarification point. This hold is also, I'm assuming it's not effective for San Benito County, or is it?
Good call out, Enrique.
Is that intended for?
I think we should have the discussion. We have helped, move, I think, 2 of our holds away from San Benito County because you guys were under the same type of circumstances with your cleanups going on. But I don't think that every hold should be take San Benito County out of it, but that could be a discussion that the Leadership Council takes. Or has, I'm sorry.
If I may ask a question related to Enrique, are you asking if the hold also includes housing placements in San Benito? Just because I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're asking.
What I would hope that when we have the need to request referrals for programs in San Benito County, that we get referrals sent and not placed a hold, because we still have clientele. And what we've seen is that most individuals from Monterey County don't want to move to San Benito County. We've seen that time and time again. So I'm hoping that there could be an exception that it is not applicable to San Benito County.
So when the holds take place, it doesn't mean that people aren't getting referrals. It means that we are prioritizing those in these emergency situations to be served before we go directly to our master list. So you would still be getting referrals. It's just not coming directly off our master list. It's coming from whatever entity, like in this case, the CNC. And we always ask before the referrals are sent if you would like to be placed outside of Monterey County, in San Benito County, and they have that choice. Maybe they haven't understood what that meant until they started engaging with you all, but we'll try to make sure that that is very clear when the referrals are being made.
Thank you for clearing it up. I could say that the referrals have been better. So as long as that is asked, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you for raising those concerns, Enrica. Wes?
Oh, come on. Hi, thank you. I was curious for the 90-day hold. What is the number they're looking to hold, and and then how many people are in the CNC, and how long it might take to get everyone as it is, as opposed to this emergency closure. I thought I was under the impression during the city council meeting that they said they were going to try to keep the funding going after March 31, even if it was just the CNC funding everything. Because that's going to leave, that's why I'm asking how many people is it going to leave, and how many people are going to be turned away, and how many people are going to be placed.
Vincent, you got an.
So if the funding does not continue, and right now there's no guarantee that it will, and frankly there's no funding that we have in addition to what has already been allocated. So that would mean all of the residents there would be placed in other housing, some permanent preferably, but other forms of housing as well. I think right now the number is around 50. If Karina helped me, I think it's about 50-something residents there now.
Ishla, there is around 43 to 47 individuals, and the plan, Wes, would be a scaled version, right? So from the beginning of the hold, obviously we're aiming for permanent housing first, and as Vincent discussed, then we're going to explore other options through the continuum, whether that's transitional housing, other types of respite care if it's necessary. It's going to be contingent based on the needs of the clients that are there. But I can tell you that Community Homeless Solutions is versed in rapid rehousing, and the goal is not to displace anybody. Great. So when
I got okay. We at 5 o'clock, and I got 3 more items. I think we got the answers that we needed. So can we have a motion then to support that recommendation to approve this 90-day CARS hold from January through March as indicated?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Roxanne, second.
Roxanne seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against? Those abstentions? Those abstaining? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much, City of Salinas. We appreciate that. We were trying to get these through, hopefully next 10 minutes. Flex pool update.
Yes, the next 3 will be very quick. The Flex Pool update, unfortunately, at this time, the coalition and its partners, the behavioral health, the Monterey County Behavioral Health Bureau, are unable to participate in the Flex Pool. So we will be returning the funding to DHCS and will no longer be participating in the TA. It was a very hard decision for us and for our partners, and we were really, really hoping to be able to get this started. But unfortunately, at this time, with all of the requirements for Prop 1 and BHSA that is going on for the Monterey County Behavioral Health Bureau, they just it's a lack of capacity right now. We really need to prioritize getting those other things done before we participate in the Flex Pool. So we are no longer participating in that program.
Nicole, could you explain? Most people don't know what Flex Pool is. You deal with this every day, but for those that don't, this was a grant that needed to be administered by Behavioral Health, but they said they were limited on their ability to do it. But could you explain how much money were we talking about? And was there a possibility of extending it, asking them to extending it? Because I think we were pursuing some other private or philanthropic dollars to be able to do this. If Katrina, if you could remind me correctly. And last time we talked about it, saying if we could just get extension on the funding in case the other money came through that might be able to complement.
It was $115,000 for the Flex Pool Planning Grant, and it was required to go through behavioral health because it is behavioral health bridge housing funding, so it's coming from that same pool of funding, so it needed to go through them. And then I'll pass to Katrina for the other response to that.
And what the question was, were we able to get it extended?
Yes, because I thought we were also looking at another potential funding source opportunity that we don't know if we're going to get it yet, but if we do get it, then this funding and that funding might be able to complement each other better. This Flex Pool on its own, it seems like we don't have the resources, but if the other money comes through, then it's a different ball game in terms of getting something off the ground on this.
Yeah, especially because it wasn't just the $115,000 planning grant. It also came with technical assistance from DHCS, or Department of Health Care Services. We were not able to extend it without the buy-in or participation of behavioral health. Behavioral health doesn't buy in. They couldn't do anything about it. So that was unfortunate because it really could have positioned us well to have that type of technical assistance to build out this program. So to speak to your question on what it is, it's basically like a pool of funding that is coordinated and administered in one space, but can leverage out multiple sources of housing funding, and so we had said that CHSP could be the administrator, in action, if behavioral health would be the administrator on paper. But I know there's a lot of legalities under that with working with counties and those types of governments, so they weren't really for it because on paper they're the ones that are responsible. So it would have been helpful. We're going to continue to look out for, other technical assistance and funding opportunities. That's why, we want to kind of pause on some other activities so that could be our main focus. Nicole was great in executing this application to get the funding. So I'm sure other opportunities will come up, and we will go for every single one that comes up that we believe that will benefit the community as a whole.
Katrina, what is the deadline on this? When do we need to make a decision, or when do we need to know that we cannot pursue the funding?
Nicole, can you speak to that? I mean, I think they had already emailed DHCS saying that they're not going to participate.
Correct. Yeah, behavioral health already sent in their official notice that they are rejecting the planning grant, and that they will no longer be participating in the Flex Pool.
Well, I want to just be able to say that because the Board of Supervisors hasn't decided that, right? And I'm speaking for myself, but and I know our behavioral health partners are here, but this never came for the Board of Supervisors to be able to weigh in and say, hey, does this make sense considering our homelessness crisis? And it's not a huge amount of money, but the technical assistance seems to be something very valuable. And I would love to do a referral on it tomorrow, but I need that time so that I need to know the time frame so that when it comes to the Board of Supervisors, we're able to say the board could direct that we do want to pursue this funding and we do want to partner. I at least wanted to have that conversation among my colleagues before this just being decided at a staff level and not coming to the full board.
Yeah, Nicole, let's look into that, and then Supervisor, we can send you an email or text you tomorrow to let you know what DHCS is requiring of us, and if they would reject the rejection.
Because if the board provides direction otherwise, then that should supersede a staff email that didn't have input from the full board. that's why we're here. That's why we serve here, right? To be able to make sure that the decision makers are put in the loop rather than it made at a staff level, and that's where decisions should really be made at for something so important like this. So if you could give me that time and maybe we could revisit this tomorrow. Please.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go to item number 8, monitoring evaluations. We got a seating opportunity for the Monitoring and Evaluations Committee for San Benito County. Somebody's being recommended, Anthony Fedon. And then as a lead member, which are people with lived experience, Caroll.
Yep, and that's the whole motion for this item, is to just make sure we can get a seat for San Benito County. Currently does not hold a voting seat. And then the lead representative before Caroline no longer has the capacity, so the lead is reseating somebody for that committee.
Okay, but that's who's there now, so we don't have a recommended person to fill in for her yet.
Oh, the previous person was Robert Daniels, and now Caroline will be taking his place.
Caroline will take the spot. Does anybody have discussions on filling in these committee seats? And I appreciate staff finding people willing to serve, because that's not always easy to do. If there's no discussion, if we can have a motion and a second.
Labarro, make that motion.
Thank you, Mayor. Second. Who was
Casey,
that?
second. Casey.
Thank you very much. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those against? Okay, abstentions. Motion carries unanimously. Last item, HMIS. Then we're done, everyone. Thank you for a few extra minutes.
This is very much informational, and this is just to keep everybody in the loop, and in going back to what we were talking about earlier with the HUD CoC changes and things that we're expecting to see. So the FY26 data standards have already been implemented without a guidance from HUD. They let HMIS administrators know that there is a pending guidance, but they are still expecting everybody to start implementing these things. They had to do that starting October 1st. So Oliver has been doing his best working with WellSky, our vendor, to be able to try and communicate what these things are and what the changes that they are currently seeing in HMIS are, the biggest one being the removal of gender from HMIS, and a reversion back to sex only, and you can only choose male or female. So that's the biggest change, and then that will affect reporting in the future. Oliver has been giving trainings, has had office hours, just talked about it earlier today at HMIS Oversight about the changes and what to expect and how providers can start to move forward. And they voted at HMIS Oversight Committee about the path that they want to move forward and the way that they will be presenting this information to clients, so that we are uniform in the way that we do that. But just letting you all know that Oliver's working really hard on trying to get everybody up to speed without having the guidance from HUD himself. So he's giving as much training as possible, and there are other office hours opportunities coming up in November as well. So we'll be able to continue to just guide the community through this and through the different changes.
And Nicole, that's going to have an adverse impact on our data sets, right? Comparing years after years, now the data is changing, so it's going to be hard to make those comparisons with our prior data sets moving forward with these drastic changes that are really goes against everything we've done for the last several decades, on this data gathering.
Correct. So it'll be harder, no more apples to apples, but apples to oranges comparisons, and it'll be a little bit tricky, and we'll have to go back and change everybody's sex in HMIS for all of the clients. Otherwise, we get flagged on our federal reports for them. You have a 90-day grace period, but after that 90-day grace period, your data quality starts to matter again. And we are a little bit worried about what that will do for our LSA, which is our next big upcoming report, usually at the end of the year.
Any questions on this big topic, everyone? Comments or suggestions? And otherwise, this is just a report out on that. Thank you for your work under these challenging circumstances. If that was it, I think that was our last item. Thank you for staying over 12 minutes. I appreciate everybody's time, but we got through it. So with that,
thank you.
Meeting. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your leadership.
Bye-bye.
Okay, good job, everyone. Appreciate your leadership.